Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Sabrina and I am so glad you're here. Today we're going on an adventure, a journey into the world of science. Now science isn't just about beakers and lab coats, it's about curiosity. It's about looking at the world around us and asking, how does that work? It's a way of thinking, a way of discovering the universe's most incredible secrets. And boy, are there some incredible secrets to uncover. We're going to explore 10 amazing scientific discoveries that you probably didn't learn about in school. These are findings that have fundamentally changed how we see life, the universe, and even ourselves. From life in the most impossible places to ripples in the very fabric of space-time, we're about to see just how wonderfully weird and complex our world truly is. So get ready to have your mind blown. If you love exploring the mysteries of science and want to join a community of curious minds, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us continue to bring you more content just like this. Let's start with something truly remarkable: life itself. When you think of where living things can exist, you probably picture a forest, a field, an ocean, nice, comfortable places. But what if I told you some organisms think a vat of boiling acid is a cozy home? Or that freezing, crushing darkness at the bottom of the ocean is the perfect place to raise a family? Well, meet the extremophiles. Extremo for extreme and phile for loving. These are the ultimate survivors of the universe. Take, for example, the vibrant, colorful hot springs of Yellowstone National Park. Those beautiful colors? They aren't from minerals. They're from vast colonies of thermophiles, heat-loving microbes. Then we go from boiling hot to freezing cold. In the sub-zero brine channels within Antarctic ice, we find psychrophiles, cold lovers. They survive conditions that would turn our cells into tiny ice crystals. Imagine having a book, a very, very long book that contains the complete instructions for building and operating you. This book is your DNA. Now, imagine that in this book there's a single misspelled word, a tiny typo that causes a serious problem, a genetic disease. For decades, scientists could read the book. They could find the typo, but they couldn't fix it. Until now. Enter CRISPR, a revolutionary gene editing tool. Think of it like this. It's a molecular pair of scissors combined with a GPS. The potential applications are staggering. We're talking about the possibility of curing genetic diseases like sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, Huntington's disease at their source. Instead of just treating the symptoms, we could correct the genetic error itself. Let's zoom out from the biological to the fundamental, to the very building blocks of reality itself. For decades, physicists had a beautiful theory called the Standard Model. It described almost all the fundamental particles and forces, but it had a huge gaping hole in it. The theory couldn't explain why particles have mass. Think about it. Why does an electron have the mass it does? Why does a photon, a particle of light, have no mass at all? So, something was missing. In the 1960s, physicists proposed a solution. They theorized an invisible energy field that permeates the entire universe, the Higgs field. Some particles zip right through without interacting, others interact a lot, and this interaction is what we perceive as mass. To find evidence required building the largest, most powerful machine ever constructed, the Large Hadron Collider. On July 4, 2012, after smashing protons together at nearly the speed of light, scientists at CERN announced they had found it. They had detected the Higgs boson. It was a monumental achievement and the discovery that completed the Standard Model. It was nicknamed the God particle, not for religious reasons, but because it was so fundamental and so hard to find. It's the reason the universe as we know it can exist. When we think of old age, what comes to mind? A century-old tortoise? Let's venture into the world of bristlecone pines, the longevity champions, gnarled, weathered trees, some of the oldest single living things on Earth, found high in arid, windswept western U.S. mountains. But to find true, mind-boggling age, think much smaller. Scientists found bacteria trapped inside a salt crystal, buried half a mile deep, dated at 250 million years old. And then, the impossible happened. After 250 million years, the bacteria woke up. Get ready for a concept so weird, so counterintuitive, that it made Albert Einstein himself deeply uncomfortable. He famously called it spooky action at a distance. We're talking about quantum entanglement. You can create two particles whose fates are linked, no matter how far apart you separate them. Until you measure one, its spin is undefined. But the moment you measure one and see it's up, you instantly know the entangled twin will be down. This isn't just philosophical. Scientists use entanglement for new tech. Quantum computing, which could solve problems impossible for current supercomputers, relies on it. This spooky connection is a fundamental feature of our universe. For centuries, Mars has captured our imagination, the red planet, our celestial neighbor. Early astronomers saw what they thought were canals, sparking fantasies of Martian civilizations. While those were optical illusions, the search for water continued. We knew from geology that water must have flowed there in the past. Orbiters have photographed vast, dried-up riverbeds, deltas, ancient shorelines that hint at massive oceans. Mars, billions of years ago, was likely a much warmer, wetter world. But the truly groundbreaking discovery is more recent. In 2018, using ground-penetrating radar, scientists detected a large body of liquid water, a lake, buried about a mile beneath the southern polar ice cap. This was the first time stable liquid water had been found on Mars. Let's bring our focus back to something much closer. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? One person, right? Well, science has a little surprise for you. You are not just you. You are a bustling, thriving, walking, talking ecosystem. You are home to trillions of microorganisms: bacteria, fungi, viruses, archaea. For every one of your human cells, there are roughly as many microbial cells living in and on your body. By gene count, it's even more lopsided. You have about 20,000 human genes, but your microbiome contributes millions. Perhaps the most astonishing discovery is the gut-brain axis. Microbes can produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. This means your gut bacteria can influence your mood, your stress levels, and even your behavior. You are what you eat, because your food feeds your microbes. Albert Einstein revolutionized our understanding with general relativity. He told us space and time are woven together into space-time. He predicted that massive objects accelerating should create waves in space-time itself. These are gravitational waves. For 100 years, this remained just a prediction. Scientists built LIGO, an instrument of exquisite sensitivity. Each facility has giant L-shaped vacuum tunnels, arms 2.5 miles long, designed to detect changes smaller than the width of an atom. On September 14, 2015, it happened. Both LIGO detectors registered the chirp of two black holes spiraling into each other. The event happened over 1 billion years ago, and the ripples had been traveling through space ever since. We can now listen to the cosmos. For this next discovery, we're exploring one of the most mysterious phenomena in medicine: the placebo effect. A placebo is a fake treatment, a sugar pill, a saline injection, a sham surgery. And yet, for many people, it works. This isn't just all in your head. Belief, expectation, ritual of treatment can trigger measurable biological changes. When someone believes a treatment will help, the brain can release endorphins. fMRI shows placebos activating the same pain relief centers as morphine. The context matters immensely. A warm, empathetic doctor is more effective than a cold one. It reveals a powerful connection between psychology and physiology. It shows beliefs and expectations are a biological force shaping physical reality. We end our journey with a creature that blurs the lines between entire kingdoms of life. We're taught there are fundamental differences between plants and animals. Plants are producers using photosynthesis. Animals are consumers that eat other organisms. It's a clear, simple distinction. Or is it? Meet the eastern emerald elysia, a sea slug that has stolen a superpower from plants. In remarkable biological thievery, the sea slug incorporates chloroplasts into its own cells. This process is called kleptoplasty, literally stealing the chloroplasts and keeping them alive. The sea slug incorporated algae genes into its own DNA through horizontal gene transfer. For months, it can survive just by basking in the sun, like a plant. It's an animal that photosynthesizes, a solar-powered slug, challenging our neat classifications of life. And there you have it, 10 scientific discoveries that have sparked curiosity and expanded our view of the universe. From life that thrives in boiling water to space-time rippling from cosmic collisions, science reveals a world more intricate, connected, and wondrous than we imagined. The quest for knowledge is a journey without destination. Who knows what discoveries are around the corner? What will the next generation uncover? The most exciting thing about science is that there's always more to learn. Thank you for joining me on this scientific adventure. If you enjoyed this journey, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. Until then, stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop exploring. See you next time.